Hi there, it's Anne Tui from Room Junkie here again, and I'm back with the second part of Module 4, which is all about lighting. Now, I could speak for the next 24 hours about lighting, the importance of lighting, why it is so important to think about your lighting way at the beginning of your project and not towards the end. Lighting is not an afterthought, it is so important. I live in Ireland where the light is not always fantastic, so I really need to use internal lighting to improve every single room that I design, and you'll do the same. So with lighting, there are so many different types of lighting, and I think the success of lighting is in what I call layered lighting. So you don't just have a central pendant, or you don't just have spotlights, you actually have lots of lighting working together, supporting each other and creating this really pleasing, fabulous light effect. And to be honest now, because of LED lights and because of all the eco-friendly lights that are around, the variety and choice of lights is fantastic. The quality of the light is superb. You can go for warm light, cool light, you can recreate daylight, you can do whatever you like. Technology is there. Even the bulbs themselves are so beautiful. So many of them have this lovely tungsten wire, and the bulb itself almost becomes part of the design as well as the light fitting. So I'm going to start with the different type of lightings that I use and where I use them. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is recessed lighting. Now, in the past, recessed lighting often got a really bad press because the lights came with individual transformers, and the transformers would blow and the lights would blow, and thankfully that's a thing of the past. The LED recessed lights that you can get now have the most beautiful daylight, really. That's how I would describe it. Daylight light, natural, beautiful, clean light, and the light fitting itself is a little bit bigger, and it sort of disappears into the ceiling so that you're not conscious of the light fitting, you only see the light. And I am a great fan of recessed lights, and I use them a lot, and here's where I use them. I use them in kitchens, the functional part of your kitchens, because you need good light in your kitchen. You need good light to be able to work, and recessed lights provide the best task lighting for me in a kitchen. Under your hob, and if you had a range or a range cooker, I would also put recessed lights again, because you're working at that hob and you need really, really good clean light. I always use recessed lights in the functional area of halls, stairs and landing. It's supplementary light because, yes, in your hall, I like to, if you can have a big statement light hanging over your staircase, and of course I'll have that, and I'll be as bold as I can with it and hang it low so that you can see it from upstairs and downstairs and everywhere. But for the main lighting in these areas, I definitely would use recessed lights. If you've got a home office, I would suggest using recessed lights as well, because again, really good clean light. You're working on your computer, you don't want eye strain, and while you may have a lamp on your desk as well, the recessed lights are a super idea. And the other place that I use them all the time is in bathrooms, because again, you need the sealed lights, the IP rated lights, but they give beautiful crystal clear clean light in your bathroom, and definitely the right thing to do and well worth spending the money on. Now, central pendants. I use a central pendant in every living room and bedroom that I design. And some people might say, but Anne, I never turn that light on in my living room. I don't like an overhead light. I prefer lamps. Well, so do I. But you need that light to balance your room, because if you put recessed lights into your living room, particularly if you've got a high ceiling, you know what's going to happen? Your room becomes unbalanced, bottom heavy. So you need a statement light in the middle of your room to finish off the room and to create that perfect balance in the room. So whether you turn it on or off, it doesn't matter. You need that fitting there just to anchor the space. Now, when you're putting a light fitting into the center of a room, I would suggest you put it on a dimmer switch if you can. And also be mindful of the height of your ceiling, because if you've got standard ceilings which are 8 foot tall, you can't really have a very low hanging light, or anybody who's 6 foot or more is going to bump into it. So you need to be mindful of this. Now, one little trick that I will tell you about, if you really want to have a decorative big light in your living room, in the center of your living room, and you don't have a ceiling height, well, if you put a coffee table underneath that light, people will have to walk around it. So it's just a little trick, and it will actually work. Now, obviously, you're not going to go mad and hang a 4 foot light, but you can certainly get away with a deeper light or a bigger light by putting the coffee table underneath it. And you know what? I've done this many a time. But if you've got the luxury of nice tall ceilings, well, you can have whatever you like, and a bigger light hanging on a longer chain always looks better. So and style, go with whatever you love, because this light is going to be up for a while. and just pick something that you love. And and the size of it, obviously, whether it's a 3 light, 5 light, 7 light, will be dependent on the actual size of your room. And take guidance from the guys in the lighting shops. They know their trade, they know what lights will work, they're experts in their field. So don't be afraid to ask the questions and bring in your plans and bring in photographs and get really, really good advice before you make a purchase of a light. Feature lighting, I love a feature light in the right space, particularly somewhere dramatic like in your hall. So you can go as bold as you want. You can go hang it high, hang it low, hang it wide, depending on the space, but really make a statement. But I will caution you, if you have a statement light in your hall or in your landing or in your gallery, be sure it's in a spot where you can easily change the bulbs. And don't laugh at me, but this is true, because you're not going to want to be putting up scaffolding or a tall ladder every time a bulb blows. So be sensible about this and make sure that you position it somewhere that it will be easy enough to get access to changing the bulb. Now, one of my favourite lights of all are lamps. I love lamps. I have put lamps in every corner of every living room that I possibly can. I will have lamps, well, I suppose by lamps I mean table lamps. I will have them either side of your bed, on your bedside lockers. And again, the style, depends. You can go as glamorous, as simple, as contemporary, as traditional, whatever as you want. Just pick a style that you like. And I like taller lamps. I don't like little tiny lamps. I like something that has a nice bit of height. And you'll find in the chain shops and the likes of TK Maxx and in the lighting shops that you'll find, and in good homeware stores, you'll find well-priced lamps that won't break the bank, but certainly will bring an awful lot of style and sophistication to your room. Uplighters I tend to use not so much in a domestic situation, but say you've got a feature wall, maybe a stone wall or stone effect tiles, something like that. Well, you can certainly wash that wall with uplighters in the floor, and that works really, really well. Task lighting is important if you're somebody who, if you actually read a lot, or if you sew, or if you have a hobby that, crochets, all these arts and crafts, people are doing them so much now. So if that's you, maybe buy yourself a standard lamp that also has an adjustable light that you can use to increase the light that you need to do whatever task it is that you're going to do, because eye strain can happen so easily. And something, if you're in a room that has inadequate light, it actually disconcerts you. You don't feel comfortable. So it's really good to have many sources of lights that you can turn on or off, or use all together or not so much, depending on how you need them. And dimmers, I always use dimmers where I can, because it just softens the light, and you can take it up to full capacity or down, depending on the mood you want to achieve, or whether you need really, really good light. Above islands and above kitchen tables, I do like to put a statement light if you have the space in your kitchen to do so. So you could hang 3 lights, 2 lights, or 1 large light, depending on what you want. It doesn't matter. You pick whatever style you like, but it's a good thing to include. So if you're planning a new kitchen, now think about that, because obviously the electrician will want to know exactly where those wires are going to go. And if you've got concrete slabs between your floors and you come at the end of the build and say, oh, but I wanted 3 lights there, you're not going to get it. So be mindful, always be one step ahead of whatever you're going to do. Plan it out. If you've got a new project on the go, plan it out and plan the lighting from day one. I always do. You have to, because it costs nothing or very, very little, pennies, to put wires in place. So once you're ahead of yourself and you know where you want your lights to be, well, then your electrician will be one very happy man. Another thing that I sometimes do in bedrooms, instead of having lamps either side of the bed, I have a pendant lamp hanging down low over the lockers. And this actually works really well in a teenager's room, because it's kind of a funky look, and it's a good thing to do. But again, you need to know that you're going to do this at the outset. Wall lighting. Wall lighting is something that had been out of trend, if you like, out of favour for quite a few years, because we all remember those. You can see 2 of them behind me, those plaster light fittings that you painted in the same colour as your wall, and they did the job, but they weren't the most attractive. Well, now you'll find, if you're out looking for lights, there's the most gorgeous, absolutely beautiful wall lights everywhere. So definitely don't discount wall lights. They can be great in a landing or in a hall, or just somewhere where you want. Some of them are like a piece of art in themselves anyway. They're sculptural in shape, and they're lovely. So consider wall lights again. Strip lighting I use as well. You can use strip lighting under at the kickboard of your kitchen if you've got a contemporary kitchen, if you like that style. You can also use strip lighting under a bath. I often do this to illuminate a bath, particularly a bath that's boarded in and tiled, because by running the strip lighting along the bottom, it almost makes the bath look like it's floating, which is a lovely thing to do and a very easy thing to do. All you need is a wire for that. Another thing in bathrooms, I always try to use lighted wall mirror or lighted mirrors above your sink, because, and the ones you need, the Hollywood starlets had it right, the ones that have the up and down lights either side of your face are so much better for putting on your makeup or for shaving than the ones where you've got the light above your head, which causes shadows and distortion. And you will be pleasantly surprised if you haven't been shopping for mirrored bathroom lights. Most of them now at the minute have a demist mat built into them, so that, you know, if your guy is shaving in the morning and you're coming along afterwards to do your makeup, well, happy days. The steam is all gone by the time you get there, and they're really attractive. But do look for the ones that have the up and down lights, because certainly they're the best thing to do. And if you're putting a lighted mirror into your dressing room, IKEA do a very good one that resembles the Hollywood starlet ones, that actually has the bulbs coming down, or your glass shop will be able to make one for you either. But it's a good thing to know, because again, you know, you can't have too much light for putting on your makeup, and close light. So great thing to do. Again, I'm going back to my list now, but I think I've covered most of the lighting that I use. But the important thing to do is to consider your lighting as a whole when you're planning your room. If you're building a new house, the lighting plan will obviously, because first fix happens so quickly, you need to be one step ahead of your electrician. You need to know exactly where you want your lights, and always better to have the wires there even if you don't use them. But think about the most light that you possibly want at the beginning, and then if you don't need all of them, then well, they can be dummied off and closed off. But you'll find that if you put thought into this process and put thought into it at the very, very beginning, that guess what? You'll end up with a really, really exceptionally good lighting plan, and the light in your house will be clean and clear and just put you in a good mood from the minute you walk into the door. And you know what, if you're planning lights as well, don't forget about the lights for the outside of your house. If you've got a big double door, often having a light either side of the door is very, very attractive when the lights are all turned off at night. So be mindful of things like this. Garden lighting, because you're looking out into your garden at night and it's attractive to have it illuminated. You can have tall lantern type pillars at your entrance, on your driveway. And again, it's just a matter of thinking, giving it a little bit of thought and planning it all out. And honestly, the lighting shops, the guys in the lighting shops and the ladies are so knowledgeable and so professional and know everything there is to know about lights. And a lot of them will even make up a light for you. So you pick your style, and I guarantee you'll fall in love with a light that is just perfect for you. And think outside the box a little bit as well. Some of the chain stores offer very good lighting solutions, particularly for bedrooms, very cost-effective lighting solutions. So, you know, don't run to the most expensive shop in town for your lighting. You'd be surprised what you might find elsewhere. And also do have a look at the beautiful tungsten bulbs. They're almost like the Edison bulbs. They come in different colors, different shapes, so that the bulb actually almost becomes part of the light fitting, and certainly is a very beautiful object. When LED lights came out first, the bulbs were so ugly that I have to say that a lot of people didn't want to use them because they were hard to look at. But now that's all changed, and the designers have done a great job with having these really stylish functional bulbs. So lighting is something that I'm really passionate about. It's so important to get it right, and it's so easy to get it right if you just put in the time and effort and plan it through. So that's it. That's module 4 completed, and stay fabulous. I shall talk to you very soon in module 5. So have fun with your lighting.